Hey, it's Drew. So you know what that means? It's Wednesday. So happy hump day, and hope everything's going well. And I hope you got a good weekend planned coming up. Um, Let me just start by saying my videos, as you could tell, they're unedited, unscripted. I speak off the top of my head. That's why you get some stupid shit that I say sometimes, which, hey, whatever. I don't have fancy cameras or lighting. I don't do any editing. It's just me and the raw. That's it. All right. So what you see is what you get. I don't look at a script and I have things in my head, little bullet points in my head that I like to touch on. But a lot of times after the video, I realize, yeah, I missed on saying that, or I wanted to say that. But anyway, so I promised you after the holidays I was gonna get a little bit more controversial. And yeah, I like to stir the shit. It's my personality. But I get the people thinking. All right, because I know there's a lot of people they don't think like me. There's a lot more people out there that probably do, but they're always afraid to say something because the populace is gonna come down on them and maybe try to ban them, or they can't get a job if they speak their mind. So I'm retired now, so I have that freedom again. So today I'm going to talk about the feminist movement and gender roles. Okay, let me just start by saying I'm married. I have 3 children. I have a son. He's my youngest, and I have 2 daughters. One is an RN, and the other is in the United States Navy as a gunner's mate. So I know what it's like to raise women in this environment. They're very strong women. They take care of their own shit. They never needed daddy to be over to protect them because their mom and myself taught them that you take care of your own, you don't let anybody step on you, and you deal with your own shit. Most of that's probably from my wife. She's a retired police officer, and she's been out in the shit, so she knows what it's like, and she passed that on to her kids, which I'm very grateful because, like I said, they're strong women. They don't take anything from anybody, but they're also very feminine. All right, they don't go out and have to feel like they need to prove something to the world. Oh, look, I'm a woman. I could do this. They just go out, they handle their business, they make their money, and they do what they have to do. So I just want to get that part out. That I know what it's like to have women in the house and to raise 2 young women, and I think we did a very good job with my daughters. Um, let's get to the pay inequality. All right. But first of all, yeah, there is definitely a discrepancy, or so to speak. There's a difference in salaries. Okay, and the reason for that, if you look at it logically, which people don't, they just listen to the news and all the other. Oh my God, we don't get paid the same. Well, the way they calculate that is they take the all the jobs that women have, how many people working, what the average salary is for all those jobs, and that comes up with how much pay a woman makes. They do the same for men. They'll calculate all the jobs that they have and then divide it amongst the men, and that's our average salary of a man. Well, let's just face it, it is what it is. Women do jobs that pay less. There's more women probably in retail and such businesses like that. Okay, and I'm not going to take anything away from any woman. All right, and like I said, I have 2 beautiful daughters that take care of their own business. But if you look at how much women in retail, and a majority of women do less paying jobs, okay, as opposed to a man. You look at a welder. You look at power line workers. You look at all these other guys in the construction field. Now, I'm not saying there's not women in those fields. There are. But by large, most of those jobs, which are high-paying jobs, are handled by men. So obviously, when you average them out, yeah, men make more money than women, but they're doing higher paying jobs. And that is the only reason that is the case. All right, so let's get back to it because my wife was a police officer. She didn't make any less than the cop next to her. They got the same pay. Oh, wow, she's a female and he's a male, and they made the same money. That's almost any field. I mentioned like construction workers. There's women in construction workers. If you're doing the same job as a male, you're getting the same pay. It's when you average it all out is when you get the discrepancy. So could we, pump the brakes on that for a second? All right, just relax. So there's that. Now, as far as roles, gender roles in jobs, yeah, I do have an issue with lowering standards for women. All right, depending on the job. And I'm not saying women can't handle the job, but just handle at the same standards as a male. For instance, a firefighter. If you're a firefighter, you better be able to carry a 200-pound person out of a burning building. If you can't, you're useless to me. What role do you serve? So, yeah, there's women that can do that. I've seen it. There's very strong women out there. And congratulations. That's great. I love it. But on a whole, don't lower your standards to let women do the same job as a male. It's not fair, especially in a job like that. It's not fair to the public. You put them at risk. Now, I mentioned my wife was a cop. And yeah, I had some reservations when she went into the police department. She's a small woman. You would never, if you saw her on the street, you'd never think that she was a cop. And I'm going to be honest with you. If shit's going down and there's a brawl, man, I'd rather have a 6'2" guy that's like 200 pounds having my back. Okay? But there's a role for women like her in the department. And I'll explain real quick. If there's a situation, there's a domestic violence or something like that, my wife is a lot better at going in and stopping the situation from getting worse, quieting everything down. Whereas you get a lot of these guys that go in with the testosterone levels through the roof, and they just want to beat heads and break things up, and they escalate a lot of situations. Where women have a better ability of reasoning and handling things in a less violent way and calming down the situation. So there is a role. So I guess what I'm saying is, I take everything as for individuals. You could be a really strong woman as a firefighter. That's fine. You could be a cop. Like I said, if shit's hitting the fan, I don't know if I want a small cop around, but at the same time, sometimes they could quell a situation and really calm it down. So, yeah, I just want to hit that topic a little bit. I know some people get their panties in a bunch over that, but, whatever. The Me Too movement. So this started because of sexual assault, women, rapes and such. I believe women should come together and help and support each other. All right? There's a lot of dirtbags out there who take advantage of women because of their size and such, and they want to have power over them. So I get the movement, how it originally started. But now, it's just morphed into this thing where if you look at a woman the wrong way, oh, me too movement, oh, look at the way you looked at me. But let's be honest, all right? Let's look at the way some of these women dress. And I don't want to hear it, because you're full of shit if you don't want to say that women dress provocatively on purpose, all right? I see it all the time, all right? You look at other YouTube videos. These women are just begging for attention on Instagram and everything. Every photo of these women, they're all showing their ass with the tight pants and all that. So you can't be doing that, and then on the other side, be oh, look, I can't believe you're looking at me like that. I'm not a sex symbol. And stop dressing like a slut. Like, bottom line, So stuff like that drives me crazy. The other thing that drives me crazy with this Me Too movement. Yes, times have changed. Society has changed. We don't look at things the way we did 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, all right? So society is changing. But for what was the norm 40 years ago, and yeah, you may not like it, times have changed, to go back in time now and start prosecuting or slamming these guys for something that happened in the 1970s, in the 1980s, society was different. Maybe it wasn't the proper thing to do, obviously, but to go back in time for what was back then the norm, to start and then you get these actresses all of a sudden, oh, like we didn't know about the casting couch. Now, after you got your role, because you went down on your knees, all right, you got the role you wanted. 30 years later, oh my God, this director, I can't believe what he did. We all knew about the casting couch. All right? So stop. Stop going after guys for something that happened in a different era when times were different. If that was to happen today in today's society, fine. Fine. Back then, whether you like it or not, that's what went on. And the women understood it. Don't get me wrong. They did. They knew. And they had no problem back then sleeping their way to the top. Or any of these other jobs. All right? You're going for a job, and oh, yeah, he touched me. He groped me. You knew that what you were doing, and that's how you got the position you got. All right? So let's stop with that. Now, I see that I was talking about the way these women dress. Well, why is that? They like the attention. They like the attention, and that's the bottom line. And then later on, like I said, wouldn't you call them out on it, and then they get all defensive. All right, I've had young girls. I'm a retired paramedic. I've had young girls. They dress provocative. They go out. They're really young, and they go out and they have sex with these guys, and then they get caught by mommy and daddy, and next thing you know, they call it rape on the guy. Poor guy had nothing to do with anything. It was consensual, but you got caught. So now you go and you start complaining, oh, he raped me, he raped me. That's another thing. The false allegations that some of these women get away with just to ruin some guy's life is ridiculous. I know I'm all over the place today because I'm getting a little heated about this stuff. I told you I was going to be a little more out there after the holidays, and here I am. Like I said, I go all over the place with this stuff. So that's that for today. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm going to get heated. I'm going to lose my trend of thought. I'm not going to leave this just there. I'll be back to this topic, I'm sure, in weeks or months to come. There's a lot of things going on in this crazy world that I really want to touch on. I don't want to make my videos too long because then you're going to get bored as hell. You're not going to want to watch it. And I really don't blame you. Who's got time to be watching me? Anyway, that's it for today. Till next week. Have a great weekend. See you then.